Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hoopatheticals. It's the post-trade deadline, post-All-Star. I said post-trade deadline. I don't know what that is, but we're going to be talking about everything. I'm your host, Jez FM, of course, voice of the Coburg Giants for people that are locked in to Victorian basketball. You'd know this voice extremely well. I'm joined by my co-host, as usual, Thom Hot Take Nixon. What's up, mate?
Thanks for having me again, mate, on my own podcast. Good to be here. Very excited for our check-in after the trade deadline, the All-Star. We've said it before, we'll say it again. We always check in now. It's an important part of the season. You have to sort of lay the land out, see what's going on, and this will be no exception. We're going deep today, as always, into Bucks, and with our special guest, into some other territory. Jez, would you like to introduce him?
I would. This is a man who is a professional athlete, okay? This is a man who has been a Heat tragic. This man has texted me so many things over the years between the Bucks and Heat, and he's an absolute sniper from the three-point line. We're welcoming in our Heat correspondent from last season, Ryan Tennison. How's things, mate?
G'day, boys. Thank you very much for having me on the show. Very excited to get into the season, and I'm also very keen to get your takes on what's been happening around the league.
Nice. And Ryan, do you want to tell us what you're a professional athlete in? Give us what's the official credentials there?
Yeah, no, thanks very much. I take my profession very seriously. I played one game of paid semi-amateur football, country Div 4. I played off halfback, got 3 touches and was benched. So I take that pretty seriously. And, one thing as a professional athlete that I think I can contribute to this podcast is the hard work, the training, and the professionalism needed to succeed in your given sport. So I think that's why I'm here today.
You know what, Rhino, we've played enough pickup together in the past, and I reckon with the state that the Heat are in at the moment, you're deserving of at least a 10-dayer. At least a 10-dayer.
I'm having to hang up on Pat Riley 2-3 times a day. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's good. Well, I thought so.
Speaking of Pat Riley, sign us some money because it's time for a Heat check. Alrighty, this is Heat Check. As you know, if you're a regular listener, this is where we check our temperature on different things around the NBA. We want to get an exact thermometer reading and find out where things are. Today, I'm going to kick us off because I've got one that I wanted to talk about. Big one for me was the NBA All-Star Weekend. I'm going to start with you, Tommy. What was your thermometer reading on that? And do you want to tell us why?
It was pretty lukewarm, I'll be honest. When the only person who gave a crap later had a blood clot, really just shows what we're dealing with. LeBron piecing out approximately like 4 minutes before game time, also a tough L. So those are my lowlights from the package. Also, another lowlight, Chris Paul and Wemby's skills challenge. That was the most exciting thing for me. Also, big ups to our Bucks representative in the dunk contest, Andre Jackson Jr. I've never seen a colder attempt. I'm so sorry, mate. I really wanted it to be good. Even Pat Connaughton, like white boy Pat, had a better dunk contest submission a few years ago, and that guy's like a foot shorter than you. So, yeah, look, I wanted to be engaged. Wasn't. Hold on. The only thing that didn't make it a 0 degrees absolute cold was, I don't know if you boys saw this, but that kid and Dame who had the like deep 3 shooting competition, and like Dame kind of low key throwing it so that, and that kid then hitting the half court shot. That was actually sick. I actually really vibed that. That was really fun, and that was hype. So I was into that.
So what are we sitting? Probably about 25 degrees, you reckon there, Tommy?
Yeah, room temperature. I'd be drinking the water, but I wouldn't be enjoying it.
Fair enough. Ryan, what about you? What's your thermometer saying?
I tell you what, I'm a little bit disappointed in Tommy's glaring omission that Heat legend Tyler Herro won the 3-point contest. I mean, how does that not get a mention? But no, seriously, this was a bit of a joke of a weekend, really. I mean, in all seriousness, I think the league probably needs to address some of the issues. Like, there was just such little interest. The game's become a farce. LeBron just, pieced out like 2 minutes before the All-Star game. No one plays any defense. Everyone just lobs up threes. Like, there probably has to be some incentive. I've seen stuff on, like, floating around on social media that maybe the team that wins the All-Star game should, in the NBA Finals, host the NBA Finals. So, I mean, that might be a way to get some teams to lock in a little bit. But, yeah, overall, wow, what a washed experience. And, yeah, as you said, CP and Wemby getting ejected out of that Phil's challenge. I love the energy to try and cheat, but it's like, how are you cheating in like an All-Star weekend game, guys? Oh, my goodness.
It's amazing to take the skills challenge that seriously, that you'd get ejected for it. It's an unheard of experience, to be honest. Yeah. So what's your official thermometer reading there, Ryan? What do you reckon?
I've got to be honest, this is probably the least I've seen out of an All-Star weekend in like 10, 15 years. So I'm going to give you a straight 10 degrees on that thermometer.
Wow.
Fair.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm gonna zag a little bit. I'm gonna go for a nice 45 degrees here. I'm gonna tell you why. Huge weekend for white NBA and not NBA players in Mac McClung and Tyler Hero. It's the only time that's going to happen, I feel like, in any All-Star weekend ever. Because other than that, it's just been, Wemby's the only person that's trying in the All-Star game. Did you see the actual final for the NBA All-Star game? Did you see the 40-minute TNT Congratulations Fest? Did you watch this live?
I saw like real bits and pieces.
Okay, I need to explain this because if you didn't watch this live, it was actually shocking. It was like, so as you know, the game already is pretty unwatchable. And during, I think it was a timeout, they took 20 minutes to thank the guys from TNT. It got to the point where there was like just players standing in the background talking to each other. And the TNT people didn't know what was going to happen, so they were unprepared. And it was just, if there was any sign that the NBA did not care about this. But you might go now, Jez, why did you give it such a high rating if it's so bad? But it's almost gotten to the point of absurdist comedy at this point where you can't help but laugh at how bad it is, you know?
Can't look away.
You can't look away. It's like the Westbrook Lakers. It's a car crash that you can't turn away from. And having a 20-minute timeout in a game that you want to try and promote, I just thought was an absolute move of brilliance from Adam Silver. So, yeah.
I did see like a short of Kevin Hart just roasting what will likely be the MVP in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for not only his basketball playing, but his shoes. And then they just cut to him. You're right. It was like, it was almost like comedy because it was just like, he roasts him, then just cuts to Shai and he's just standing there like, can we play basketball? So...
But yeah, anyway, we've heard phrases like worst All-Star game of all time and stuff like that. So I think you guys are probably close to the money. Tom, did you want to give us your heat check? Did you want to raise the thermometer gun and see what we're seeing?
Yeah, I wanted to heat check. So on the trade deadline, this is some Bucks chat, essentially. I wanted to heat check our trade deadline. I've got it pretty sizzling here, boys. I've got a steaming 85, maybe 90 degrees centigrade here. As everyone knows, we've had to farewell Middleton, cash money. But getting Kuz for that, with the addition of Kevin Porter Jr., we traded for a high five. I think we even made the Lakers look like, we got a better deal than them in this one, in piecing out Marjon Beauchamp. And also getting Jericho Sims, who I didn't even know existed until about 4 days ago. I think we had like sneakily one of the best trade deadlines. We got younger, we got faster, and we got bench scoring as well. Kuz has been sneaky a good rebounder. Kevin Porter Jr., like, I don't know what to say. He looks really janky and he's kind of all over the place, but that step back, like elbow J is wet. It's cash. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what team outside of maybe the Lakers actually had a better trade deadline than us. Like, I'm pretty hot on it, to be honest with you. And we're on 4 games in the stream. I'm Spain. 4 games.
Wow, that actually literally created an explosion. That take was so hot there, Tom. Ryan, I don't know how much you know the intricacies of the Bucks trade deadline.
You're gonna.
But did you want to take a stab at what you feel like the thermometer was, just from your brief understanding of it?
Yeah, I mean, not raging hot like you, Tommy, but I think certainly sort of beyond, like, it's when you dip your toe into the bath and it's just a little too hot. You're like, ooh, I might put my foot in a second. That's the kind of heat we're talking at. Don't love the Kuz move, to be perfectly honest. I know they say with Kuz you cannot lose, but all of his previous teams have proven otherwise.
Excuse me, the Lakers got a chip with him.
Yeah,
I'll remind you.
That's true.
He was like the fifth option. Doesn't matter.
I don't think he gives you a lot. Like he's erratic with his scoring, defensive issues, but Porter Jr. is a different story where I think he can be given a role to let loose. I think Kuz is going to have to play within the system a bit more just because he plays in that position where obviously Giannis will be taking a lot of the minutes and a lot of the role. But I reckon Porter Jr., there's an opening there for him to get a little bit more freedom. And as you said, you guys got that for a high five and a laugh. So even if it doesn't work, it's fine. But I think the chances are it will in some capacity. And all he has to do is put up 10, 12 points in a game a few times, and then it's already been a win.
Yeah.
That's sort of the bar you're needing to cross. So I think there was some great moves made.
Look, I hold a healthy delusion every season with the Bucks, as expected. And I felt like the last few games coming out of All-Star and watching our team sort of come back from some double-digit deficits and play like a team, especially with Bobby out. We'll get to that in a moment. Giannis on a minutes restriction, et cetera, et cetera. I actually feel like my delusion is a little bit more grounded in reality. And we may be like more than just a first round like stumbling block for whoever we face. So I don't know. I'm feeling good. Jez, what's your heat check on this, mate?
This is the first time at a trade deadline that the Milwaukee Bucks have not got the oldest person in existence onto the team. So that's
that record.
I'm thankful. Like, we're not thinking about getting like Serge Ibaka or DeMarcus Cousins again or Jay Crowder. It's like, can we get someone who their peak is still ahead of them? And finally it's happened, you know? Be that, like, there's a potential that's true of Kuzma. We don't know yet. Has he peaked with the Lakers? Has he not? We'll find out. But I tell you what, Ryan, I was not a Kuzma believer. And look, I still don't know exactly where I'm at with him. But I will say, in comparison to Khris Middleton, he's making Khris Middleton look like he was a zombie that was on the court. Because now I'm actually seeing someone sprint up the court, and it looks different. It looks like I'm watching like peak athleticism.
Yes.
So I will say there is a bit of a difference there, especially because you know, Ryan, when you watch the Bucks every day, everyone's so old on the Bucks and slow. It's Brooke, it's Bobby Portis, it's Khris Middleton. You know, I mean, I know Giannis is like a bolt of athleticism, but usually you're just seeing this pack of old people roll up the court. Finally, there's actually someone else sprinting up the court with Giannis, so it's actually good to see. But yeah, KPJ has been turning it on, but I have been looking on all the sort of Reddits, and people say this is exactly the KPJ cycle. Like, his first 10 games, he's absolutely going to cook, and then we're going to lose him. But you know what? I'm going to enjoy it while it's here.
Yeah. Enjoy the cooking while it's on the table.
I mean, I heard people say the same thing about Taurean Prince, to be honest. Like, he did the same thing on the Lakers, like was an absolute bucket and then just could not purchase a three. I don't know. He's still shooting like okay. And like Rhino said, I only need 10 or 12 off the bench from KPJ. That's all I need. And when Bobby comes back, I maybe don't even need that. I need like maybe 8, you know? Yeah. So I'm going to enjoy, the athleticism is so refreshing. Also, Kuz is like 6'10". He's like weirdly kind of tall. Having someone who's not, I'm not that Khris Middleton was short, but like he feels like a genuine replay. Also the cap space. No one's talking about that. We have just got so much more money in the bank now because we're not paying out Khris Middleton. Goodness gracious, that was an expensive zombie.
Ryan, did you have a heat check for us? Did you have something you want to get a thermal reading on?
Yeah, I do. The getting a more sort of heat vibe in here. Miami's new number 22, Andrew Wiggins. I must say, I mean, overall, my take is that when you're trading away a star, Jimmy Butler, superstar, crossover, he's sort of in that bracket. Teams very rarely win the trade. Like, you're always going to ship out more than you're going to ship in. That's just the way it works. So I was never expecting a huge return for Jimmy Butler, especially with his age and the way he left and all that sort of stuff. Don't mind the acquisition of Wiggins. And not to say that he's going to be like reproducing anything that Butler's doing. But a cog in the system as that third option, I actually don't mind him there. He can score at all three levels. He can work in the post. He's a decent defender, rebounds a little, and isn't a black hole on offense, which, I think we can take and run with that for a couple of years while we rebuild. So, yeah, I like it. I think on the thermometer of moves, considering the garbage rest of the trade line that the deadline that the Heat had, I rate that as pretty hot.
So, Rhino, can you? I'm not as close to the Heat source as you are, so to speak. Can you outline what exactly you guys got back for Jimmy, and did you make any other trades? I'm not aware that you did. And was it just Wiggins? It wasn't a 1-for-1.
No, it wasn't for one. There was like 4 teams involved.
Yeah.
So the Heat also got Davion Mitchell, which I know game changer. And I also think that was a ploy by the Heat because we tried to get Donovan Mitchell, number 45.
Sounds
I reckon
the same.
they had the jerseys ready and waiting. So didn't land him, so we got Davion Mitchell, who's wearing 45. So they'll save some coin there. But no, it wasn't a straight up swap. And it was just one of those situations where I saw about 15, 16 different trade options, ranging from getting Bobby Portis and Khris Middleton back to, is KD going to somehow be involved in a trade? And so, I mean, realistically, is it a needle mover for us? No. And obviously we've taken a step back, but it's just to get Jimmy and the money off the books, really, and to load up for the next off season.
Yeah, Ryan, I just want to also, can you talk to us, as a Heat fan, do you want to tell us a little bit about this Jimmy saga? Not only, can you break it down in just a couple of ways? So how are you going to remember Jimmy as a Heat member? Then also, how are you going to remember this saga of him trying to get out? And then can you tell us about how you feel about him on the Warriors?
Look, I think you'll always be a Heat legend. I mean, especially, those deep playoff runs in the bubble, when we were the 8th seed making the run. Obviously didn't win the chip with us, disappointingly, but I think those playoff runs and some of the memories there are just irreplaceable, like Dwayne Wade level of memorability and just the impact it had on the organization. But the way he left, I think I was really disappointed in. I mean, if you look at the way he's left all his other clubs, it's not to be a surprise, but it's just disappointing considering some of the stuff he'd said in recent years where he'd found his home. Miami's where he wanted to retire and, see his number put up in the rafters, which he was certainly on his way to doing. But to answer your last question, when I think I'm on the Warriors, I think he's exactly what the Warriors need. He's somebody who's going to give Steph Curry some help in the backcourt, front court. He can defend his heart out. He can do whatever you really need on a night. He can give you some 30 or 40. He can lock down your opposing player's best player. He can rebound the ball if you need some help on the boards. He can pass it out. I'm not saying this necessarily puts them into contention, but oh my goodness, he is exactly what they needed.
Well, what's your temperature on Jimmy on the Warriors?
Jimmy, excruciatingly hot. We're in the pits of hell hot. Yeah, he can do a lot for them. Just from a perspective.
Dante,
I want to hear that. He's going to do a lot because he's going to give teams a lot of trouble in the playoffs.
We know about that. I'll say that as Bucks fans, haunting memories.
Yeah. When you mentioned that run when we were the 8th seed, I'm pretty sure the Bucks were the first seed that year or something, and we got punted in the first round from you guys. Just tough. I think the Heat were happy just to offload him, and they didn't really care how it was going to look. I think it's a great move for the Warriors. I agree. It's not going to take them to the promised land, but it'll definitely be. I see the Warriors as the most annoying first round matchup for anyone in the West now. You really don't want to see them in a 7-game series if they make it to a high enough seeding. You really just don't want to have to deal with that. And Jimmy will make sure that it's a pain in the backside. So I also don't know what you guys got back. I don't know. The Heat are perennially in this spot where you're good but not great, but still overperform. I feel like the Heat have overperformed in the postseason for 5 or 6 seasons now, and but this does give Tyler Hero the space, I think, to actually play the game that he needs to play. Dropping 40 on our heads today was a great example of that. So I'm interested to see who they can lure into who. Sorry, I know we're going a bit off here, Jez. Rhino, who do you want to see now? Obviously the rest of this season's probably a bit of a wrap. the Heat will maybe have a play-in, maybe. See how that goes. Who do you want to see go to the Heat now who would complement the Bam, Tyler kind of 1-2 punch you've got at the moment?
Yeah, I think the answer is either a point guard or a small forward. So it's pretty clear the Heat are going with Tyler at the 2, Bam at the 4, and Khalil, the rookie, at the 5. That's sort of the only thing that we've locked into the organization for the next few years. So it's that 1 and 3 position. I was really hoping De'Aaron Fox, who's good friends with Bam, would come to town. Obviously, the lure of Wemby, was too strong for that end. But I'm curious to see where Kevin Durant goes if Phoenix blow up again this year, because I think that might be a nice combo for at least a year or two. Because I think that could cause some trouble.
Yeah, I don't want to see KD in a Heat jersey in the East in the first round. I barely made it through that Nets second round. Goodness, that took years off my life. And sorry, just as a side note, I was talking to someone the other day, and he literally referenced that playoff matchup between the Bucks and the Nets, and said this is the reason I got into basketball, watching KD in that series, and like he was in basketball nirvana, and yeah, we won by that much.
Yeah. I want to say, Ryan, I am pretty hot on this trade because I'm a Wiggins believer, but I would take that with a grain of salt because here's some other people who I'm a believer in. I'm a D'Angelo Russell truther, and I'm a Thon Maker believer. Yep. I'm still on board for both of them. So, but Wiggins is on my not selling the stocks list there for me. All right, let's quickly run through our other heat checks really quick, guys. I've got another one I wanted to quickly share. We've done the Jimmy Butler trade saga thing already, so that's good. Do we want to jump onto Khris Middleton just quickly? I just feel like I had to touch on this because Ryan, I'm sure you missed this, but the Bucks played the Wizards in Khris Middleton's first game. His first play, he got fouled and he got a free throw. In his first defensive play, he set a charge and Giannis ran over him and he got the charge. So great stuff to see from Khris Middleton. You love to see it. But I wanted to say, as a Bucks legacy person, the heat check on that is a 10 out of 10. Yes. Obviously, had some moments against the Heat. Had some moments, that Nets game you're talking about, he was the one that actually clinched it. Final bucket was Khris Middleton from the free throw line. Old bag of bones guy. But you know what? He's had enough highlights that it was just amazing to have him on the squad. And when I saw him put on the Washington jersey, did a tear come to the eye? Absolutely.
It hurt.
It's all right. We got Kyle Kuzma now.
He's going to take us to the promised land. It was tough as well. I don't know if you clocked it, Jez, but Middleton hit like a kind of late 3 in that Wizards game, and I was almost cheering for him. It's tough to see him go, but goodness, just like you said earlier, watching Kuzma with even a modicum of athleticism, being able to run up and down the court, not dribble the ball off his foot. I'll take janky sort of layups and contested threes all day, just so we have a warm body. But yeah, I'm a Kuz truther on this one, I reckon. I think it's good. Middleton had to go. He had to go. He knows it. We know it. The Wizards for some reason, didn't know it, but they can deal with the consequences.
Ryan, did you have any hate check on Khris Middleton?
Yeah, I mean, I think that he should be remembered as a real Bucks legend because, I mean, I remember the early days just before like the bubble and stuff. Like, Bucks fans were comparing Middleton to Jimmy Butler. Like, that was such was the level he was playing at. So, like, I mean, I know he trailed off a little bit, but most players do when they get older. And hey, look, what happens if he has a resurgence at the Wizards? He might be like the dangerous boogeyman, later on in his twilight career. Who knows?
I've never heard the words resurgence at the Wizards. I don't think ever, Ryan.
Yeah.
So it's very optimistic there.
Goodness. Him and Poole are just, I don't know what's going to happen there. But
Ryan, did you have a final heat check for us?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to gauge the temperature on what the Spurs should do without Wemby now. Obviously down for the season with the blood clots. De'Aaron Fox brought into town to try and set up a bit of chemistry, potentially build to a playing spot. Who knows? Do they, now that they've lost the big fella, do they just completely go all in on the tank, just lose as many games as possible, and let's get that top 3 pick? who knows, maybe even pick up Cooper Flag and reload next season? Or do they try and keep De'Aaron Fox a bit happier? And do they just try and foot to the floor, play some young guys, see if they can find some pieces to work with for next season?
Ryan, the only tank that they're going to this season is Sandro Kelishvili, okay? Their backup power forward center. Okay, let's see what he's got in the tank. That's the tank I want to see.
Too much of a shout out on this bloody podcast, mate. You cannot be. He was in the Rhyme Out a few weeks ago, Ryan. This man just keeps getting shit. I mean, he played for the Bucks for like 2 seasons, and Jez has had a love affair with him.
It's the name Sandro Kelishvili. So
said with confidence.
That's as much confidence as I have in his post-up game is how much confidence I said that with. No, they got to go for the tank. You may as well. Like, what are we doing? The only person that's going to be disappointed is obviously CP, who's just losing the late season in his career. That's just getting absolutely punted. But yeah,
how do they do that though? Like, how do they like? Because De'Aaron Fox is good enough to get them to win, like, what is there, 24 games left in the season. He could single-handedly win them half of those, I would say. Like, do they just let him jack up like 25 shots and just kind of live with the consequences? Or, because you can't bench him.
Sandro, Kelishvili, get him in the post.
No, I mean, it's a good question. How would you, I mean, realistically, I think you would just look to try and almost solely play through Fox. Like, let him put 40, 50 shots up. And yeah, if he's good enough to win you enough games to get a play-in spot and whatever, then look, I guess you just cop it. You go, wow, he's really that good. And you'd probably almost feel better about the trade knowing he is that good now.
Sure.
But yeah, let him put 40, 50 points up on the board per night. And, you know, normally, if you have to do that night in, night out, you're not going to be winning a lot of games. But, you know, I'm sure they'll see it try.
Alternatively, they go for the CP3 scoring title option to go, CP3, it's your only chance for glory. Let's do it, mate. Jack him up. All right, fellas. Do we have any other things we wanted to check the temps on, or do we want to dive over to our first take style segment, Worst Fake?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Alrighty, everybody, this is our segment, Worst Fake. If you like First Take, you may or may not like this. This is a lot like First Take, where we bring the energy and emotions to basketball takes, but the only difference is we don't know what the take is that we're going to be defending, and we don't know what side of the argument we're going to be defending. But let's go Ryan to me first, then me to you, then Ryan, you bring us in the as the tail. So Ryan, what's the take that I will be defending today as an ESPN First Take style guest?
Jez Bayless.
Yeah. Oh my! Have we not thought of that before?
I need you to defend and explain why the Mavs, in fact, won the Luka AD trade.
Well, first of all, they call me Jez Bayless because there's no skips on my takes, mate. Let's jump onto it. Dallas won this take, dude. I mean, they won this. It's so obvious. First of all, name a good center that the Lakers have now. I bet you can't. So that's 1 point straight away. And, you know, as people have been saying a lot, you know, they're talking about small ball and stuff. What's the antidote to small ball? Big ball. So, who's got big balls? The Dallas Mavericks, it seems like at this point.
GM at least.
In the future, though, that seems like, because AD I don't think is going to make it. However, here's the thing. It's a long play. It's a long play. I don't know if you've ever heard of something called the process, Ryan. The most successful basketball strategy of all time. But the Dallas is setting themselves up for the most perfect process of all time. Get rid of Luka. He's just going to get in the way of the picks, in all honesty. You've got aging, decrepit superstars. Let's get money on the books and let's get it off the court. That's what we want to be doing. We want the Ben Simmons approach to tanking. So I think this is not a play for the next 10 years. This is a 15, 20-year play. Big brain thinking. That's my thoughts. All right, Tommy, are you ready to bring a hot take to this version of Worst Fake? Okay. Oh. So we've been talking about this a little bit, but I wanted to get a real thoughts on this. Trading Jimmy was actually a move for this season. Tell me why the Heat are looking to make the Eastern Conference Finals.
Here's the thing, mate. The Heat work best when they're the underdogs, when people least suspect what they're going to do. Like we said just before, they were 8th seed. No one took them seriously. They had their run. Jimmy made it to the finals. That was it. He was cooked. He was old. They had a bunch of who's on that team, and they went all the way, baby. Tyler is just like, he's a younger, better version of Jimmy. He was cooking today. Bam is still a bucket. You got Timu Wemby on there in Ware or whatever his name is. I reckon the Heat, like we were saying Golden State, well, I was saying Golden State are a bad matchup in the first round. The Heat are always perennially a bad matchup. We said it before, Jez, I'll say it again. They bully teams. They are mean. They have a great system. Spole, I feel like, has everyone's number. I don't know how he's done it, but like basically any coach in the East is just like afraid of Spoelstra, and quite rightly, I dare say. So, yeah, I'm nervous. I don't want to see them in the first round. I don't want to see them in the second round. Heck, I don't want to see them in any rounds. I reckon like Tyler could really, like, this is his season, his postseason to make a name for himself. He has the reins. He's the bus driver. Yeah, I don't want to see the Heat in the postseason, man, because they could be really firing.
The Heat, the team to beat. Tommy sold it. Very nicely done, Tommy, for that worst fake. Applause.
I believe it. I believe it.
Tommy, do you want to lay one on Ryan Tennison here? Oh, he's
I
taking
do,
a drink.
actually.
It's that hot.
Sorry, my mouth is spicy right now, dude. I'm actually doing one off the fly here because I feel like we kind of covered the worst fake that we were going to do. Rhino, you sort of foreshadowed this a little bit, but the Suns are in a little bit of NBA purgatory at the moment. Booker is on empty calories. Beal is a dead weight, and KD's always looking for his next adventure, his next season. I want you to tell me why the Heat is his destination, and in the off season, of course, and what he's going to do as he comes back to the East, and what next season is going to look like for the Heat.
Well, to be honest, I think there's no other spot than Miami that he can go to. Miami have the salary cap space. We've got expiring contracts that we can flick out. That's Terry. That's Duncan. These are guys who can be gone tomorrow. I'll pack the bags and drive them to the airport myself. So the money and the cap space is there. The fit is inarguable. You've got the outside scorer and Hero who can feed the ball. You've got the inside monsters and Ware and Bam who should not be shooting anywhere outside of 12 feet with KD in the team. And then KD gets as many touches as KD wants. You want to put up 40 shots? Have it. You want to put up 12 shots? Have it. That's right. Let the other boys take some shots. It's fine.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to do the hard work on defense. That's what Bam's for. That's fine. Take your time. Take it easy. Haywood Highsmith will take the perimeter guys. Don't stress. You just trot on offense. You want to take a three, you lob a three. You want to work out of the post, you work out of the post. Like, you just do you. Then you hit the playoffs. Then, brother, it's all about you. It's all about KD. Everyone will build the system around you. There's no other superstars. You don't have to worry about a Harden. You don't have to worry about a Steph. You don't have to worry about a Beal or a Booker trying to take your shine. There's no one. It's just you. It's your show. You run it how you want. Well, Miami can even give him like LeBron status. He can become GM, start booting people. You know, like Tyler Hero, trade him, gone. Tremendo legend Tyler Hero. Like that's the control that Miami can give him. And I think it just makes so much sense for the last couple of years, last 2, 3, 4 years left of his career. He can just run the show and he doesn't have to work too hard for it either.
Wow. Get that man on the phone right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, Ryan Tennison, the man with a plan for Durant. The only easy money sniper I can see, mate, is Ryan Tennison with those takes. So well done, mate. Yeah. Good rookie take on worst fake, my friend.
Very well done. Very good.
All right, let's dive quickly into Tommy. You and I have both brought a poem to today's podcast, but the only place we could do that is at our Poetry NBA open mic night, Rhyme Out. Alrighty, hello everybody, welcome to Rhyme Out. This is our NBA poetry segment where we're going to be saying a little bit of poetry about a random person in the NBA. As far as I can tell, based on my internet research, there's no one else doing a regular NBA poetry segment. So this is the potentially, asterisk, the only place on the internet you can come for proper, regular NBA poetry. So, Tommy, you always lead us off, so why not do that again? Do you have a poem for us, and do you want to step up to the mic for us? Everybody,
Dude.
Thom Nixon.
Thank you. Those who are familiar with Shakespeare, particularly sonnet number 18, may find some familiarity in this one. I've used it as a bit of inspiration. I realize now that all my poems are about the Bucks, but I'm a tragic, so that's where it is. That's what it is. Maybe I'll branch out later. Well, let's just get into it. Shall I compare thee to a Giannis and one? Thou art nothing more lovely nor more temperate. Rough free throws do shake the season average, and that form leaves it all too short daily. Sometimes too hot the crazy eye of Bobby shines, and often is his painkiller choices dumb. And if by fate or fortune decides, Gruber law officers on whom I will rely. But thy eternal ring hopes shall never fade, nor lose hope of that time called Dame. Not even death could part me from hope of the forever Bucks in 6 trope. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives Giannis, Dame and Kuz, and this gives life to our big three.
Amazing.
Tremendous. It is absolutely tremendous.
This is what, when people say modern Shakespeare, they don't often then do a bit of Shakespeare, but this is exactly what I'm looking for.
Dude, I tell you what, shoehorning in Bucks sort of deep cuts into a sonnet was not something I had on my bingo card this early on in 2025, but here we are. That was tough.
That was actually amazing. We haven't had a sort of reworking of a classic poem before, so that is pretty amazing. Well done, Tommy.
Thanks, mate.
I brought one that's also Bucks related. We've already been talking about him. This was my original thoughts on the Kuz. Kuz has been getting a lot of run this podcast, but you know what? If there's a podcast for him to get a lot of run, it's this one, and then we may never hear from him again. So
yeah, we'll have his head.
This is my initial thoughts. I feel like I've warmed up on him a little bit, but my initial thoughts on Kyle Kuzma when we got the trade. Okay, here we go. Thank you. Yes, this is me on the mic. Thank you. Kyle Kuzma, not a player. I'd choose ma. Got a lot of tattoos ma. Sometimes his plays are very confused ma. First play for the Bucks, he dribbled the ball off his shoes ma. He's tall, so that spot we grues ma. Hopefully he won't make me so angry I spews ma. Thank you, Kyle Kuzma.
Thank you.
So there we go.
Beautiful.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
So anyway, Ryan, there you go. There's Ryan out. It's a pretty powerful open mic segment we got going on.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was so emotional.
All right. You can feel those feelings here, mate. It's a safe place.
We allow tears both on this podcast and watching Khris Middleton in a Washington Wizards jersey. It's acceptable at both locations and nowhere else.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's roll straight on to our next segment here because we've only got 2 left and we got to get to them. This is probably our most important segment. It's the one that's actually garnered the most sort of views online. I don't know if you've noticed that, Tommy. It's our redacted segment, which is our NBA conspiracies. So everybody, get your tinfoil hats out because it's time for redacted. That's right, redacted. The segment where we do true crime better than Netflix, but this time it's for unsubstantiated NBA rumors and conspiracies. If you want some of our best work, I highly recommend going back over to the Luka pod. If you want to hear all of our conspiracy theories there, we scoured the internet and brought a lot of them there. So if you want to hear what different people are thinking, we've got some good ones there. But today, we have a new conspiracy theory, at least from us. Ryan, do you have a conspiracy today?
I do indeed.
Great.
Good. I do. To fire off the top, I think that and I know you mentioned this previously, but my own addition to the bevy of selections from the Luka AD trade is I think that this was all concocted as a swan song for LeBron's career.
Right.
This is the passing of the torch. This is the moment that he will go on, and I feel like this is like Adam Silver, like tick of approval. LeBron wins the chip this season. Luka obviously, plays a big part in it. LeBron then retires, and the Lakers now have their talisman going forward. Adam Silver approved trade chip, all of it.
Ryan, can I add a little soy sauce to the top of that one to add just a little seasoning?
Put a little on. Yeah.
We were talking about this last time, but I really wanted to have it this time. So I agree with all of that. Let's add a little dimension that's going to just blow the ratings up out of the pool. Yeah. And that is, it's going to be the Celtics in the final with them that they beat. Lakers, Celtics, bang. Just think of the money.
Yes. And then they just cut to a dejected Larry Bird sitting courtside, being wheeled away. Yeah.
Tell me, what do you think? Is the tinfoil hat on or off for you for that one?
Mate, I never took it off. And I'm thinking of renaming this segment Exposed rather than Redacted. Yes. Because if Bronny doesn't hit the clinching game 3, then I don't want to know about it. I don't know how. I want him to be subbed on for the last sort of minute of the 7-game series. It'll go to 7. This isn't going to be a sweep or anything. They need to milk it. And he comes on, cashes a 3, game over, roll credits, Jason Tatum, see you later. I wouldn't even be mad to see it.
All of it.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, 100%. And then, like, in the summer, the series comes out, and we'd see all that behind-the-scenes footage that miraculously was filmed before the trade even happened. Yeah. They have trade reactions, even though everyone said they had no idea it even happened. Oh, what is this? We're at LeBron's house, and they're just, like, in the bushes.
Yeah, they said they're out for dinner. There's cameras at the restaurant. Yeah.
Come on now.
You know what I'd love to see, just building off that, for the ultimate movie moment, would be they're playing the Celtics. Lakers get a lot of injuries. Bronny is now starting to play heavy minutes. They're down to 4 players. All of a sudden, JJ Redick rips off.
Yeah.
He's like, it's time. And he hits like some clutch 3 in a game 2. Not a game 7, but just something where you're like, wow, good to see. Good to see. Now,
I'd watch it.
The tinfoil hat has to be on for that one. The other thing that's a bit weird about that one that we didn't even touch on is AD just approving the trade thing that like allowed the trade to happen. He had to like basically sign off for it to happen. Do you think, just seriously, do you think that was Rob Pelinka being like, we got you here from the Pelicans, mate. This is time to pay us back for that?
Well, I think it's bigger than that. You've gone too small fish. I think this is Adam Silver saying, don't worry, the league's got you, mate.
Okay.
You be flying first class for the rest of your life. Your kids' tuition's paid. We'll buy you a place in Beverly Hills, the part that didn't burn down. Like, they'll look after him for life. Don't worry about it.
All right, beautiful. Oh, I love that. And look, it's always good to build off of a theory. So it's good to get an additional response there, Ryan. And definitely the tinfoil hat's on for that one. Tommy, we've got another theory that's come down the pipeline here. Do you want to explain it to us and tell us what your thoughts are?
Yeah, mate. This is kind of on the back of this theory a little bit, in the sense that the NBA has always been a big market team bias, and they do everything they can. There's a long storied history of small market teams getting shafted, whether it's at the trade deadline, whether it's conspicuous calls in the finals. Name your year, there was a call where a small market team got done. And they're starting early this year, mate, because Bobby Portis takes a couple of bloody Panadols, and all of a sudden 25 games. I mean, I've seen Draymond Green on the bench on the table inside the NBA like 25 minutes after punching out, a teammate or someone on the opposing team, and he gets like a bonus. I have no idea how Bobby can be made such an example of for what seems to be no good reason. I've heard people say that like, he should be taking his pills from like the team doctor, not from his like assistant or manager, whatever it was. But seriously, like it was an honest mistake. No history of it. At like 25 games just seems like the biggest overkill, and they're trying to do it to the Bucks. It honestly ties in with like my theory that Giannis gets disrespected year in and year out in MVP voting, and they're doing this to even more tank the Bucks so that his, let's be honest, one of the best seasons of his career looks even worse in comparison, because they'll be like 6th, 7th seed, or maybe 5th or 6th seed or something like that. So, yeah, my hat's on for this one, mate. Bobby getting made an example of for no good reason. I can't believe it.
Yeah, and I just want to I like your thinking there, Tommy. I want to kind of explain it for a little bit of people so they understand what actually happened. So basically, Bobby Portis, the story is that, a trainer gave him the wrong thing. It's a classic doping story, though I do think in this case it really was just the case because they were saying that they were able to test that this was the only time he'd taken it. But basically, people wondering what he'd taken. It's like stronger than a Panadol, weaker than a codeine for pain management, and he's got 25 games, which is the same amount Ja Morant got for the second time with the gun. It's just making me think Bobby Portis got his house burgled. Should have just done a video with a gun. Would have been more effective and had less games.
He would have got less games. Yeah. I wonder if they burgled him. I wonder if that's the NBA.
Now, this is where this is time to bring out the red string and the cork board here and start putting it together. Did Adam Silver burgle Bobby Portis' house?
It's a plan.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that's right. Didn't rob him. Just put it in there. Put a little jar.
I like it.
Man. Well, taste.
I mean, the other thing as well is there another team's doctor who did a little switcheroo? Maybe they're jockeying for position with the Bucks. This is just going to tank their thing, and maybe they can avoid the Bucks in the first or second round here. Anyway, a lot to think about here, fellas. All right, let's jump into our final segment here, which is, of course, we do this every week. This is, of course, Agent Cody Bang. Alrighty, everybody, this is Agent Cody Bank. This is where, not unlike Worst Fake, you and I and Ryan pretend to be the agent for a random NBA player, or sometimes it's an NBA coach, can be anything. And we're trying to get them the bag. The only problem is we don't know who that player is, and we're going to have to improvise. So let's work this way. We'll end with Ryan. So that's going to mean, Ryan, you're going to hand me a name first. I've got 45 seconds to get them money. What have you got for me today? And to tell me a little bit about why you chose it.
Your player will be Scary Terry Rozier. And the reason why is because I've got no reason why the Heat traded for him in the first place. Jez, when you're ready.
Scary Terry. Now, if you want someone who is going to look at LaMelo Ball on a tanking team and go, he shouldn't be the guy with the rock, it's me time. You got Scary Terry. Terry is not a player for a team that is trying to contend. He is, again, the Ben Simmons bank hole that can hopefully help your team tank well. He's gonna do the classic traded person move where he's going to give you 10 games that blow your mind a little bit defensively and offensively. He's going to have a playoff game that scares you, honestly, where you go, that's actually amazing. But the rest of the time, you're going to be looking at him and going, are my eyes blurry or is that Eric Bledsoe? And you won't be that far off. So well, hopefully Eric and Terry can team up on the Shanghai Sharks. And that's who I'm getting him the bag for. It's for the China League. Yeah, that's me getting the bag for Terry. All right, Tommy.
Tough.
Yeah. Look,
the problem,
he was actually good against us in one playoff series for the Celtics. And
wait, weren't they investigating him the other day for?
Yeah.
Ryan, can you speak to that? Was there an outcome?
Yeah, currently being investigated for, strange amounts of bets were placed on his overs or unders for scoring in games. Yeah. So, I mean, hopefully he gets banned for life. Gets that sort of John Tate Porter, sort of suspension, get the cap back, and we can actually sign a decent point guard.
And the Shanghai Sharks just got a new poster person. All right. Ni hao indeed. And Tommy, I think from the fact that you've already been a bit of a truther of this guy, you already know who's coming. But I just need to hear it from you as the agent for the man. Give us the source for why we should sign Kuz to a max contract.
Mate, he's still young. We've got years of Kuz ahead of us should we choose it. Look, you can't say that his dribbling's not good. He's done the same as Middleton. He's just cheaper and younger. Dribbles it off the shoot, doesn't matter. He can jack up threes. He goes for contested layups. He can actually go for an alley-oop. That's what I'm here about. I think Kuz actually struggles from the... he's got championship DNA, and he got sent to NBA hell. So he just needs a good system. He needs a good team. Doc, can provide that. And we have a great habit of signing people who are, just about to get to that older age, Kuz is a perfect contestant for that. We've got money to burn now, baby. Let's go on Kuz. I'm all in on the Kuz.
Wow. And
Tremendous.
yeah, amazing, Tommy. I think he's getting the bag. I just want to get a quick thought. I was thinking about this the other day. Who would you rather have on your team, Kyle Kuzma or Julius Randle?
Jeez.
Pass.
Julius Randle, he just seems so entitled to the ball all the time. Kuzma, he doesn't have that entitlement, which I like. He's happy to shoot it. He'll take that late shot clock, bad step back mid-range too, like the worst shot in basketball. But he doesn't ever scream to me like, give me the first 5 shots of this game. So I'll take the humility of Kuz even amongst the, some of the tough misses.
What about you, Rhino? What do you reckon? Who would you rather have?
I mean, it's kind of like, what is a small black hole or a big black hole worse? Do you know what I mean? It's like, what? Because, I mean, Kuz will give you 15 of the worst shots you've ever seen in 20 minutes, but Randle will give you 30 and 35. So I think I would rather take Kuz than Randle.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Well, Tom, did you want to give Ryan his agent Cody bank for today and tell us why you chose it?
Yeah, I'm going a little off-piste here, Ryan, but you'll know what to do with this. We've kind of foreshadowed it a little bit, but this is a man who's going to be out of a job, if not already, very soon. And I need you to explain to me why you would want to get the bag for one Bobby Portis's trainer, because that man is going to be fun employed real quick. So can you please try and get that man at least a 10-dayer on something?
Absolutely. When the modern day NBA is entertainment, right? People think it's a sport. It's not. It's all about entertainment. Box office, headlines, frontline of ESPN, bums on seats, making tabloids. That's what it's all about. And you know who the best trainer in basketball is? Bobby Portis's trainer. Why? Because everyone's talking about him. I've seen photos of him on ESPN. I ain't never heard of no NBA trainers outside of the Bucks over the past 24, 48 hours. I know what he looks like. I know what he sounds like. And the fact that he's unemployed now just means he's the best free agent on the market.
Come on now.
Whoever signs him is instantly getting a big news deal.
Yeah. That's smart.
We haven't seen
smart.
a trainer this news headline based since Kawhi's trainer at the Spurs and then every other place he's ever been.
Oh, goodness.
I love it. I love it. That's it. Yeah, very nicely done there, Ryan. Well, fellas, we got to the end of the pod where we chugged on perfectly for time. I just want to grab some final thoughts here. Tom, did you have any final thoughts you want to leave us with just post-deadline, post-All-Star, heading sort of into this last stretch of the regular season?
I'm excited, mate. I'm really excited. Giannis on a minutes restriction. I don't hate it. It gives guys, and look, there's a glass half full situation here with Bobby in the sense that we can give some minutes to KPJ, to some of the other new guys who are coming into the rotation, and I really feel like the Bucks are actually looking low key, scary going into the postseason. So hopefully we can stay healthy. We haven't had a healthy Giannis in 3 postseasons. Dame didn't have a great postseason last year, and yeah, I think that Kuzma will step up to the plate. I think he has the opportunity now to take the right shots and not necessarily every shot, which is what he had on the Wizards. He had a blank check. He does not have a blank check at the moment. So I'm really hoping that we can play some good defense. Ajax actually still plays decent defense. AJ Green also cash from 3. So, mate, I'm locked in for these last 20 odd games.
Very nice, mate. And Ryan, did you have any final thoughts on the season heading into the last stretch here?
Yeah, I'm keen to see how the West shakes out. Because I feel like there's no one's really put up a dominant hand and said this is mine. I'm going to the NBA Finals. Lock it in. And I honestly think because of that, the West side of the playoffs will be a bit of a bloodfest.
I forgot to get a heat check from you two about this just quickly. Just a quick temperature check. What did you think of this year's trade deadline?
I mean, probably the most dramatic, of all NBA history. Yeah, that feels like an uncontroversial. That feels like a cold take.
Yeah.
It can't really get. Will it ever get bigger than this? I don't even think when LeBron went to Miami, that feels like maybe the only other comparable trade deadline I don't know. Is there any other season?
Well, yeah. Thanks so much for being on, Ryan. It's always good to have our Heat correspondent on, and I'm sure if we end up with a Bucks Heat series at some point, we'll obviously have to have you back on to discuss that one. Hopefully someone doesn't go nuclear and destroy us like Jimmy did that one year. That was truly one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever watched. To everybody that's been listening, our numbers have actually been growing really nicely on YouTube, so that's been good. Go check us out over there. And as always, everybody, Finn.